The MCU had to do something to try to salvage what was happening to their universe. Even in the Deadpool and Wolverine film, they made a joke saying, yeah, the MCU is at a low point. And many of you watching this might be like, well, it's already over. There's no way it could get back to its glory days. But it looks like they're trying everything and throwing everything to try to get some excitement back in. Of course, the big announcement is Robert Downey Jr. returning as Doctor Doom. And I'm going to discuss some of the stuff in the comic books on how this happened and where the storyline is probably going for the movies. I'm going to show you the reaction of the crowd when he was announced. But before we do that, could you do me a huge favor and please hit that subscribe button? It's a free thing that you could do that helps out the channel. It will mean the world to me. So now let's check this out. This was from Deadline.
Then I think we're going to need the greatest actor in the world to play that character. Wow. Yeah, okay, ladies and gentlemen, as proof of the unimaginable possibilities in the Marvel multi-universe, we give you the one person who could play Victor Von Doom.
And one of the other announcements right before the Robert Downey Jr. one was that the Russo Brothers were coming back to direct these two Avengers films. So basically, Kevin Feige was like, hey, we got to do something. We got to do something. We can't rely on multiverse nostalgia, jangle keys like in Spider-Man and Deadpool to bring people back to the MCU. So we'll just use nostalgia, jangle keys, and time travel multiverse to go back to what worked so well and bring it to the big screen so people will come back, right? That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. So the big question is why? What in the world could this mean? Iron Man is going to play Doctor Doom, Tony Stark's. That's not Doctor Doom. That's not how this works. That's not how the storyline worked. So why are they doing this other than to get like a quick fix, a quick bang for certain people that wants to see Robert Downey Jr. back in the MCU? Well, here's a couple things that might explain it. So let's begin with the comic books. And yes, there are stories in the comic books where Doctor Doom actually turns into Iron Man, and where Tony Stark actually turns into Doctor Doom to fight Thanos. This comic book piece has been floating around social media. I personally haven't read it, but I was reading some of the summaries online where apparently Tony Stark had to find some certain magic to beat Thanos, and it corrupted him, and he becomes Doctor Doom. But this is the biggest problem when you crack open the multiverse into the MCU. Was the multiverse always part of Marvel? Yes, it was. Did I think they used it correctly in Spider-Man? Yes, I did. I enjoyed that. Not gonna lie. I wish they had just closed the multiverse and that was the end of it. And then they just moved on. But now that it's wide open, you could just pull characters from anywhere and there's no more stakes. It doesn't matter. How are you gonna have an emotional buildup or anything like we saw from Iron Man to Endgame? Because if you remember, they went right into the Loki season and some guy was sitting at his desk and he opened up his drawer and there was a bunch of Infinity Stones. He's like, yeah, these are just paperweights. They don't mean anything. It doesn't matter. It didn't matter all that stuff that we watched. It just didn't matter. And that's the biggest problem I see, that multiverse stuff. It's like, it just won't matter. You could bring back anybody, anywhere, and put them in any position because you could just claim it to be a variant from a different multiverse, and that's that. But if I had an educated wish, I feel that this is what they're trying to do. This tweet spells it out exactly to where the story is going to go. I'm calling it. I'm giving this guy credit who called it first. He says, I wonder how Peter is going to react when he sees his greatest hero and father figure become the greatest villain in the multiverse. So now you're going to have Spider-Man like, we can't fight him. That's Tony Stark. That's the only father figure I ever had. And they're going to try to stop him, and then he's going to have to fight the Avengers and all that. This is what it's going to be. It's going to be a mess. And then probably Spider-Man will have to kill him in Secret Wars. That's what I guess, because that's how they can get the emotional part back in for a quick emotional ride with people that were invested in these characters back in the day. But I guess time will tell. I think it's cheap because it's like they're not taking any more risks to move forward. They're going backwards to just to get people back in the seats. But hey, man, if it works, it works. And that's where we are. But let's be honest, Marvel had to do something. They had to come out with something because, geez, people have just given up. What do we have looking forward to? Agatha, yeah, and the Captain America 4 that cost them probably $500 million. They're just throwing that out there. So they got to do something to create some kind of excitement to get people talking, and they did just that with Robert Downey Jr. And here, I was going to make another Acolyte video because the Acolyte actually had some announcements at the Comic-Con too, but we'll save that for tomorrow unless there's more breaking news. But I got to hear from you guys. I'm curious, what do you think of the announcement? Quick cash grab, just a quick punch of emotion for people just to cheer? Or do you think they're going to do something cool with this whole thing? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. This is Jay, and we will catch you next time.